This year might be the best year we've had as anime fans in a long, long time. You'll have too much on your hands and you know what to do with. From new seasons of fan favorites, to spin-off series, to first anime adaptations of some popular mangas, we have a lot to cover here. Every overview of these anime will be spoiler-free, so you can decide for yourself if they're worth watching. Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3. To start off with a bang, we open this year getting Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3, The Culling Game. Just like every other season of JJK, fans were dying to see this arc finally adapted into an anime. As JJK's fanbase grows with each new release, more people than ever were stoked to see this next chapter. After the long since anticipated backstory of Gojo and Geto, followed by the tragedies that took place in the Shibuya incident, Season 2 left The Culling Game with a fan favorite season to follow up on. Whereas I can't speak in absolutes as the season has yet to finish airing, wow, it is not disappointing. The Culling Game is a battle royale. Yuji teams up with the likes of Vegeta and Peter Griffin to face some of the most powerful foes he's fought yet, not to mention his own inner demons, literally and metaphorically. From some of the most clippable moments, to memorable character arcs, to intense fights, this season does it right. Lastly, one thing I love is that this is the Culling Game Part 1. Whereas yes, there will be a break in between parts 1 and 2, which no one ever loves, I think this is a win all around. Instead of getting 11 to 13 episodes, we'll get 20 plus. The pacing of the anime, as well as the animators working on it, won't have to be rushed, which has been the downfall of many animes in the past. Steel Ball Run. Peak Ball Run. Every anime that has the word ball in its title is peak, and we all know that. Steel Ball Run is no exception. This is the long since anticipated anime adaptation of Jojo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7. Set in America in the 19th century, Steel Ball Run is a story of Johnny Joestar, Gyro Zeppeli, and a lot of familiar names as they gallop across the US in a race known as the Steel Ball Run. Given the high praise this manga has received, it's no shock that the fans have been thirsty for this part of Jojo to become animated. Even though I already did, this is another anime that has not finished airing, so I can't truly call it peak yet. In fact, only the first episode has come out. What I can say though is that episode was very, very good. Now I know those of you who haven't seen Jojo are thinking, you mean I have to watch the original 6 parts just to start this one? Well, lucky for you, Part 7 is the first part of a brand new rebooted universe. This means that you don't need to be caught up with the original parts to understand what's going on here. Do I suggest you watch those original parts? Of course. I mean, Part 7 wouldn't have the hype it does right now if most of the originals weren't as good in their own right and built up the JoJo's fanbase. My Hero Academia Vigilantes Season 2. Next up is the newest season of My Hero Academia's spin-off, Vigilantes. Now I'll be honest here, I am behind on my My Hero viewing. I still need to watch the final season of the original show. Now I know spin-offs usually aren't looked upon too fondly, as a lot of times they're seemingly quick money grabs using familiar IPs. This seems to be thankfully not the case, however, with Vigilantes. I'll be the first to tell you here, the premise seems very interesting. And when I first heard of it, even before season 1 came out, I was excited for it. In the world of My Hero, heroes operate under the law. They have to be approved by schools and by government. If you've seen the original, you know this is the case, and even a point of contention at one point for the younger students. From student safety to public image, it makes complete sense not to have kids or untrained adults out in the field. As the name suggests, however, the heroes of the spin-off are vigilantes. They are not legally heroes, despite risking their lives to save other people's lives the same way the original cast does. In my opinion, this is just such a cool concept for a My Hero spinoff, and one that I hope they execute well. I hope the series can dive deep into the personal challenges for these characters that can be different from what the first series did, given their unique circumstances. What leads to these children being unable to go to UA High? Are they struggling financially? In their family lives? Do they have seemingly weak powers? Bad test scores? This is a series that I'm not sure if you can watch if you haven't seen the original, but someone in the comments below probably does, so check there. I also want to touch quickly on the original, as it's actually a really good anime. Many people are turned off by it before even starting because the fanbase has a reputation of being really weird. If the fans weird you out, just don't interact with them. The way you enjoy a show can be completely different from how others do, and that's nobody's fault. Choosing not to watch what could become possibly your favorite anime of all time just because of how someone else enjoys it, which I'll admit can get very weird, would just be a shame. Leave a comment down below if you'd like me to make a full-length video on My Hero and go into more detail. Frieren Beyond Journey's End Season 2. This is the sequel to My Anime List's top-rated anime. Given it's season 1, meaning the ratings aren't inflated by fans of prior seasons who stuck around, and that 860,000 people have given it ratings, this says a lot about the hype behind the show and what season 2 has to follow up on. While it started airing in January of this year, season 2 follows, of course, Frieren, Stark and Fern in the Divine Revolt arc. Now to rewind for those who need to be convinced to try season 1, Frieren Beyond Journey's End is as the subtitle implies. It follows Frieren the Mage after her long journey of saving the world with her party. Unlike the humans in her party, Frieren is an elf with a much longer lifespan. In turn, this comes with, for lack of a better word, a disinterest with what she perceives as short periods of time. What is a decade-long journey when it takes up less than 1% of her lifespan? Think of it this way. If you give Elon Musk $100, he's not even going to notice the change in his bank account. For all he cares, he just got one extra tissue to use. On the other hand, if you give it to Hobo Bob here, he's got a week's worth of buzzballs. Frieren has so much time in her lifespan that what is significant to most of the humans around her is hardly worth the worry in her mind. This doesn't come from a place of malice or hatred or anything negative, as one might perceive in interacting with her. It's just the nature of her life. Dealing with this and understanding how she spends her time with those following her is a major plot point of this anime. Whereas this is an anime set in the past, with action, adventure, and some magical fights, this show has a really strong slice of life appeal, which is pretty hard to do right given I just mentioned magical fights. Frieren is a show that's pretty unique in its concept, execution, and problems to overcome. And based on its rating, I think you could see it's done pretty well. As I said, Season 2 picks up where Season 1 left off, and despite it having a lower rating, which I'm 99% sure is just because it only has 10 episodes versus the original's 28, it's just as amazing and one I highly recommend. Dragon Ball Super. As was thankfully announced a couple months ago, there is a lot of content coming to the Dragon Ball franchise, including finally getting an anime adaptation of the Galactic Patrol / Moro arc, and more likely than not the arcs after that. Least exciting, but still cool, don't get me wrong, is that this will be a remake. This is great, as it'll feel like a fresh series, instead of being a random continuation of an anime that's well over 10 years old. It'll take the original arcs and tell the stories in fewer episodes, making this essentially Dragon Ball Super Kai. Now I did say least exciting, and part of this is because it'll be the third time we see Battle of Gods as well as the Golden Frieza saga, given the pre-existing anime in the movies. It also means that it more than likely won't be until late 2027, at the earliest that we get into never before animated stuff with the Moro arc. All of that aside, I'm still very excited for it. Oshinoko Season 3. Oshinoko is a story about celebrities and the lives behind the public personas. When the main character has to take a break from her idol career due to health concerns, problems arise. Whereas this is a series I have not gotten around to watching myself, it's one that I've heard mostly great things about. That, alongside being top 200 in both popularity and rating on my anime list, shows the strong fan base the series has grown. Unofficial announcement dates. Next here we will look at a few animes that might be coming out this year, but it's also more likely that we'll have to wait longer than that for them. I don't want to spend a whole section on stuff that's going to be coming out in 2027 or later. First up is The One Piece. For those of you who don't know, The One Piece is going to be a remake of the original show. For those who are daunted by the original run having over 1,100 episodes, this remake will be for you. From updated animation to shorter runtime with pacing issues fixed, The One Piece will introduce the world of Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates to a whole new generation. While it was originally announced at the end of 2023, come 2026 and all we can do is hope and pray. I actually have a whole video covering One Piece and The One Piece, so if you want to know which one is right for you, click here. Chainsaw Man Season 2. Chainsaw Man Season 2 is the continuation of the Chainsaw Man story following the very well-received Reze movie arc. Given a singular season in one movie, Chainsaw Man would be the easiest already popular anime on this list to hop into. Chainsaw Man, however, is not for everyone. Our main character is Denji, and we follow his journey from street rat to devil slayer. Miss Makima, who is the head of a government-sanctioned devil slaying corps, takes Denji in off the streets. Despite whatever ulterior motives she may be hiding behind her tree-ring stare, Denji accepts what he perceives as love from another person for the first time in his whole life. Demon Slayer Infinity Castle Part 2. Demon Slayer is probably not an anime I need to introduce to you, and if I do, well, I'm not, because it probably won't come out in 2026. Given the first part just released in fall of 2025, a 2027 release date is most likely for Part 2. Following the events of Infinity Castle Part 1, obviously, the next movie in the Demon Slayer trilogy is bound to be full of fights between some of the strongest fighters the Demon Slayer verse has to offer. Love or hate the series, as many do for both, you can't deny the beauty of this animation that has become a staple in the series. Manga turned anime. Now for those of you who started watching anime yesterday, in case you didn't know, most animes are adapted from manga. Every year we get new manga adaptations, and this year is no exception. Now a disclaimer, I am not a big manga reader. Don't get me wrong, I'm an enjoyer. I just typically will read manga as a continuation to stories that are cut short by anime, such as Dragon Ball Super and Hunter x Hunter. This means I'll need your help down in the comments. I'll be going over these new anime, yet my opinions will be very limited. If you have read or have anything to say about any of these anime/manga, let everyone know down below. If you're passionate about it and want others to give it a try, you know what to do. And hey, while you're down there, for the love of all that is holy, please subscribe. Literally 98.7% of you aren't. These animation videos take me a lot of time and work, and since I can't upload every other day, I'll really need your help for me to hit my goal of 1,000 subscribers. Leave a like on the video as well and let YouTube know you enjoy it. Witch Hat Altier. Sorry, I'm also gonna butcher all of these titles. This is the story of a girl who discovers that magic is something that can be learned and not that you're born with. She enters a secret world of witches, but finds out everything isn't as fine and dandy as it first seems. Siren, a survival shonen in which teens are transported to a future version of Earth, but they discover it's one that's in peril. As they develop psychic powers, they go on deadly missions to ensure the future they discover is not the one that their timeline will lead into. Marriage Toxin. In this action rom-com, an assassin who specializes in poison must find a wife and switch from taking life to making life in order to save his entire bloodline. Akane Banishi. In order to avenge her father's career in the art of rakugo storytelling, a girl full of passion starts a career of her own in this intense character drama featuring the art of performance. Well, what do you think? Any new anime catch your eye, or are you going to wait until 2027? Did I miss any that you're looking forward to? Let me and everyone else know in the comments down below. And of course, subscribe and leave a like while you're down there. As I said, I'll need your help to hit my subscriber goals. Thank you so much.